If you're dairy-free and health conscious, you've probably noticed the sudden influx of nut milks on the market. It can be so hard to know which ones are actually healthy, especially the shelf-stable ones. So to save you about 1,000,000 hours reading labels, I've picked up 3 for us to look at today. The almond milk ingredients are filtered water, organic almonds, pure organic vanilla extract made from vanilla beans, and Himalayan pink salt. So just 4 real ingredients, nothing weird hiding in there, everything's grain-free, so that's amazing. One 8-ounce serving has 60 calories comprised of 4.5 grams of fat, 3 grams of carbohydrates, which all 3 grams are fiber, and 2 grams of protein. The pistachio milk ingredients are filtered water, pistachios, and Himalayan pink salt. So just 3 ingredients. Again, nothing hidden, nothing weird going on there. In one 8-ounce serving, it has 80 calories comprised of 7 grams of fat, 1 gram of carbohydrate, which is a gram of sugar, and 3 grams of protein. The pecan milk ingredients are filtered water, organic pecans, organic bourbon Madagascar vanilla extract, and pink Himalayan salt. So just 4 ingredients. Again, nothing weird. I did reach out to the company to ask about what their bourbon vanilla extract was derived from, just to make sure it was grain-free, and they assured me that it is, so we're all safe there. In a 1 cup serving, you get 45 calories comprised of 4.5 grams of fat, 1 carbohydrate, which is a gram of fiber, and 1 gram of protein. The price of each of these is pretty similar. They're all 32-ounce containers, and they all retail at Sprouts for right around $7.99, but you can find them on sale pretty often. One thing to note is that the Elmhurst pistachio milk and the Pecana pecan milk don't have a cold option that you can find in the cold section, but Malk does. Malk has a bunch of different varieties that you can find in the cold section, but they're smaller. They're only 28 ounces each, and they're about the same price. So the shelf-stable version is definitely a better deal. That's pretty good by itself. It's really very thin in consistency though, so if that is something you don't like, this one's not going to be great for you. It is pleasant. It's slightly bland, but it's good. It's got this very subtle vanilla, and it's just smooth. It's not overly nutty. I don't know, it does taste slightly different somehow. Even though the ingredients are the same, it does taste slightly different than the one you can get just out of the refrigerator that's not shelf stable. So I don't know what's up with that, but it's still good. It's still pleasant, and because it's cheaper, I would probably buy this one. Weird. Okay, so this one is extremely thin, very, very watery consistency. It almost has no taste at all. And then you barely get like a hint of pistachio. I feel like I only think it tastes like pistachio because I know that's what it is. But it's so, so subtle. Yeah, there's just a really subtle taste of pistachio at the end. But it's very bland. It doesn't really taste like much at all for the most part. So this is not one you'd want to drink by itself, but I bet this would be great in other stuff. Okay. This one is also watery, so I guess they're all 3 pretty watery in consistency. But this one was extremely pleasant on its own. I feel like this is probably the most pleasant one to drink just by itself. It just has this nice, really soft, very light, natural sweetness to it. And it does taste very subtly like pecans, but it's not like pecans, you know? It's not like screaming at you. It's just really nice, light, and subtle. That's really good with the cereal. It really lets the cereal taste shine through. There's no like almondy taste going on in there. It does give it kind of a hint of vanilla flavor, which I think is really pleasant. So this is a great one with cereal. Now for the pistachio milk. I taste nothing. So if you want your cereal to shine 100% and not taste anything from the milk at all, pistachio milk is what you're gonna want for cereal. Seriously, I taste nothing. Nothing at all but the cereal and what I put in the cereal minus the milk. Crazy. I don't know why. I expected there to be a hint of something, but you can't taste it at all. Okay, now for the Pecana. I quite like that. You definitely can taste it with the cereal. So if you want your cereal to speak for itself and not have any companions, then this milk is not what you're going to want to use for your cereal. But I think it really complements it. It tastes really nice. There's a slight extra sweetness, a little bit more depth of flavor because of the pecan milk. I guess it's going to depend on what kind of cereal you're eating, but with this, it is really good. Okay, I've got my steamed Malk almond milk here, and I've got my Crio Bru. That's really good. The Crio Bru, the almond milk, it really frothed up so nicely and with this nice foam on top. It feels so fancy. Yeah, that's really, really good. I'm impressed. Again, it just gives a really subtle, light vanilla flavor to it, which is so nice. Man, why didn't I think about making Crio Bru lattes before? This is excellent. Now for the pistachio milk. Ooh, another beautiful froth. Can you see that? Okay, well that froths really nicely. It might even froth a little bit better than the almond milk did, but it's bland. It doesn't really add anything to the flavor. I mean, I guess there is a slight bit of maybe creaminess that it adds, but if you're really just wanting a really great foam and you're gonna use like maple syrup or something to sweeten it, or maybe put like a little bit of coconut sugar on top, that would probably be really good. But I just wanted to do it plain so I could really judge what the milk itself is doing. And it's not doing a whole lot here, except making a really nice little froth on the top. It's not bad, it's just not great. Okay, and now pecan milk latte with Crio Bru. This one's foam is not so great. It's not, doesn't have much body to it, but let's see what the taste is like. Okay, that's really good. Despite the foam being disappointing, the taste is really great. It kind of rounds out and makes the Crio Bru deeper and more, I don't know, robust. It's really nice, and I can just imagine if I'd add some sweetener to it, some maple syrup or something. So while the foam in this one is maybe a little bit disappointing if you're a big foam person, the taste is great. It gives it more of like a depth of flavor. It kind of brings out the chocolate, rounds it out a bit. It's very complimentary to Crio Bru, and this is amazing. I guess what you could do is combine the pecan milk for the taste with the pistachio milk for the frothiness to get a really good frothiness going. Oh man, that is like really good. Okay, so that was a lot of milk, and I am probably not going to be able to drink all of it in the 7 to 10 days I have to drink it all before it goes bad. And I know one thing everyone always wants to know about dairy-free nut milk is, does it freeze? And I don't know, so I'm going to try it out and see. We're going to do an experiment here and see if these freeze well. I'm going to put the same amount in glass jars here and leave them for a day or two to freeze, and then let them thaw for a day in the refrigerator and see what they're like after that. All right, and I'll label it almond, pistachio, and pecan. All right, milks, see you in a few days. Good luck. It doesn't appear that they survived super well. You can see they've all separated, but let's see what happens when I stir them up. This is the Malk almond milk. As I'm stirring it up, you can see that it is kind of coming back together, but it's also got these gritty little pieces that I didn't notice before. And it's a little bit darker in color now, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Since it's just me who is drinking this milk, I'm gonna taste test it, just plain straight out of the jars. Well, that tastes basically the same, but the mouthfeel is different. There's like a gritty texture to it now, which is not horrible, but I prefer before it was frozen. Okay, now for the pistachio. You can see it's separated similarly. It seems like they all separated into like 3 layers. That's very similar to the almond milk in that when I stir it, it does seem to come back together, but it looks gritty. Right, now I'll test it plain. Similar to the almond milk, it's got kind of a grittiness to it now that is not super pleasant. I would not drink it plain on its own. And it is still, you know, bland like it was before. Except now there's kind of this extra taste in it, which I'm not even really sure how I feel. I don't like it. I don't hate it. But it's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe I would hate it if I drank more of it. Questionable. All right, pecan milk. You were my favorite before. It's separated like the others did as well into like 3 different layers. It does seem to be coming together as I'm stirring it, just like the other 2. And just like the other 2, it does look kind of gritty, but the grit is a lot finer looking than the other 2. That's not bad. It is definitely not as good as before it was frozen and thawed. The taste just isn't as there. It's like it's been muted a bit. I would not really enjoy drinking this by itself anymore, whereas I did enjoy drinking it by itself before it was frozen. So that's not really the outcome we were looking for, but I wonder if they would still do well in a Crio Bru latte. So let's do that. Okay, I just heated a small amount of the almond milk on the stovetop, and I'll put it in this glass here. It looks a little bit less gritty now that it's been heated up. Froth it again with my frother here. Okay, now we'll add the Crio Bru. Looks pretty good. Okay, that's a relief. It's still good in the Crio Bru. So that's one way you can successfully use the frozen and thawed almond milk anyway. It's still pretty good. Of course, it's better when it was fresh. The vanilla was a bit more prominent in the fresher milk as opposed to the frozen and then thawed milk. But you can still use it and it's still good. Now I've heated some of the pistachio milk on the stovetop. Still that nice green color like it was before. Oh, I forgot to froth it. Ah, drat. Well, we can try it now, right? Well, hey, look at that. The pistachio milk still came to the top and frothed. That's cool. That pretty much tastes exactly like it tasted before. There wasn't a whole lot of taste before, and there's not a whole lot of taste after, but it's got that good mouthfeel because it froths so nicely. Yeah. Okay, so it works to use frozen and thawed pistachio milk in your latte. And lastly, we've got the pecan milk. I've heated it up on the stove here, and the grittiness seems to have gone. That's a good sign. Okay, not forgetting to froth it first this time. All right, still froths. Actually, that might be better of a froth than it was before. That's weird. Oh, yeah, the froth goes away really once I add the Crio Bru. Oh, it's nowhere near as good as it was before. That's really disappointing. Do you taste? I can't even really describe the taste. It doesn't taste at all like it did before. Oh, That's a shame. It's really kind of gross. Let me just give it one more try to make sure. Yeah, it is not good. So after trying those milks frozen and thawed, it seems like the best way to use them is in a latte, except the pecan milk, which apparently just do not freeze the pecan milk, because gross. But the other two, the pistachio milk and the almond milk, they worked really well in the latte, and I think they would probably work well in cooking or in smoothies, but none of them survived the freeze unscathed. You can't drink any of them by themselves anymore because they're just not good that way. And they do separate, so there's that. Not exactly what we were hoping for, but now we know. My conclusion is that before freezing and thawing, my favorite is Pecana pecan milk. I've never had a dairy-free milk that was quite as good as that. It was just delightful, especially in the Crio Bru. So, so good. My conclusion after freezing and thawing is that the Malk almond milk is probably the best. It's not pleasant to drink by itself. Of course, they were all three pretty gross in that regard. But it held up really well to frothing, and it was really good in the Crio Bru, and it would be really good with smoothies, and I think you could probably still have it in cereal as well, and it would be fine. The pistachio milk still frothed really well, but again, it's not my favorite because the taste is just pretty bland. I made this chart where you can kind of compare the differences between all three of them and decide which one you like best. In my opinion, all three of them are worth buying, but I would not freeze them unless I really had to. And the pecan milk I would just not freeze, period. The other two can survive somewhat unscathed, but there is no hope for that pecan milk. Let me know what your favorite dairy-free milk is. I would love to see if it's near me to try. And let me know what you thought about these three and if you've tried those. I'd love to know what you think. Okay, my friends, keep living an unpoisoned life, and I will see you next time.